Have you ever thought about how to control an ego? Someone who loves being in charge, being praised, and feeling important? Imagine that you have the power to not only bring them down, but also make them your servant for life. It doesn't make sense, does it? If I told you there was a strong psychological trick you could use to get a narcissist to submit and love you so much that they would do anything for you, would you believe me? Keep reading, because today we're going to find out this secret and see how it really works. When this video is over, you'll have learned things that will give you power and help you deal with narcissists in ways you never thought possible. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this movie with other people before we start. You've come to the right place if you're sick of being influenced or want to know how narcissists really work. You won't want to miss this, trust me. Let's get right to the point of this conversation. What can you do to change a narcissist's behavior so that they become so devoted, obsessed, and loyal to you that they will go to great lengths to please you? In a way, they will become subservient to you for the rest of their life. In order to fully understand how to make this happen, it is first important to understand that narcissists are driven by a single need. They constantly want to be admired, validated, and in charge. They rely on other people's opinions a lot to keep their inflated sense of self-worth. To boost their weak ego, they want to control everyone else. But what if you could change the whole situation and throw off their usual pattern? There is one strong strategy that gets to the core of their ego in a way that makes it almost impossible for them to ignore or get past. Think about this. Narcissists only want one thing in life: to be loved, praised, and respected by everyone they meet. They are always looking for praise, respect, and approval for how great they think they are. They become obsessed with how others see them and will do anything to protect it, even if it hurts other people. Still, there is a catch. What happens when the narcissist suddenly learns they can't control what's going on and can't get the people around them to constantly confirm their existence? That's when fear sets in. This is where you come in. Stop feeding their ego by not giving them the constant praise and admiration they've come to expect. Instead, make it so they are the ones desperately wanting your approval, and everything will change. The balance of power changes between you and the narcissist, who can't stand being turned down or not getting constant attention, is left open to attack. You can use this weakness to your advantage with a psychological trick that will make them a dedicated follower who will do almost anything to get your favor back. You see, narcissists depend on other people to tell them they're good enough. How other people see them is often central to how they see themselves. Because they need constant praise and attention, when you stop giving it to them, they start to feel uncomfortable, insecure, and unsure. They try very hard to hide their fear, but it's actually their biggest weakness. It turns into their weak spot, their mental weak spot. When you stop giving them the approval they need, they have a hard time regaining their sense of status and worth, especially if they feel like they can't control you or the people around them. This is where the hopelessness starts to creep in. You'll notice that the narcissist is trying harder than ever to win you over and show their worth to you. They'll do anything to get your praise again. People will sometimes even say sorry, or do things they have never done before to try to get you to change your mind. They'll start to give in to your requests in ways that were unimaginable before. This is exactly where you want them to be. They need your approval so badly that they're ready to change how they normally act to win your favor again. But here's where things get really interesting. The narcissist's constant need for praise doesn't just make them work harder to get your approval. In fact, it makes them even more dependent on you, which is a much bigger problem. They become so focused on keeping your attention, making sure you're happy with how they act, and making sure you keep telling them how valuable they are that they start to change what they do to match what they think you want or need. This could even mean that they give up things or stop being selfish in order to please you and make sure you don't turn them down. They start to change into a version of who they think you want them to be in order to avoid the painful feelings of not being good enough and being rejected. This process starts to become more stable over time. Initially driven by their need for control and approval, the narcissist is now in a situation where they have to serve you and do anything to keep your approval. They will start to act like they need to keep you happy in order to stay alive. It almost becomes a part of them to think that staying in your good graces is important for their mental stability, sense of self-worth, and even sense of safety. The more they try to get your approval, the more they lose sight of how self-centered they used to be and count on you more and more for approval. This makes the narcissist even more focused on meeting your needs, even if it means putting themselves last. This reinforces their role as someone who will do anything to keep you happy and in their life. Once they get into it, it's hard for them to get out of it, and they get stuck in a web of dependence that is made stronger by your power over their need for approval. As this process goes on, you'll notice that the narcissist's power slowly changes from being in charge to being able to support your needs and wants. Their once powerful presence is now overshadowed by their need to make you happy and make sure you're still satisfied with what they do. They carefully plan every move they make to keep you close and in their good graces. They will go out of their way to do things for you, do what you ask, and basically bend over backwards to meet your needs. Focusing on making them work hard for your approval will make them more determined to do anything to please you, the more you fight their attempts to control you. Eventually, their need to win your love and support can become so strong that they become stuck in a cycle of submission that they can't easily break free from. It's important to know, though, that this isn't just about getting the narcissist to give up or giving you power over them. It's about really understanding their mind and using that to your advantage. There's no need for you to be mean or manipulative yourself. Doing so would only make things worse between them. You only need to stop giving them the narcissistic food they need to feel strong and independent: approval, attention, and reinforcement. The rest of the process will happen on its own once you stop feeding their ego, setting clear limits, refusing to play their mind games, and standing up for your own sense of self-worth without needing their approval all the time are important. You send a strong message that you are not easily moved when you refuse to give in to their emotional manipulation and drama. Because of this, the narcissist will want your approval more and more, and they will start acting in ways that make them look loyal, obedient, and even ready to do anything to keep your attention. We must stress that this does not imply that you should behave in a cold or mean way. In fact, being mean will make things worse and give the narcissist more things they can use against you. This strategy instead includes using what you know about narcissism to stop them from staying in charge of the relationship. They'll start to fall apart if you learn how to delicately avoid giving them approval, set clear limits, and avoid getting caught up in their manipulative games. The more you stand up for yourself and don't give in to their emotional needs, the more they will fear that they are not important or relevant. Because they are afraid, they will change into someone who can't help but follow you when they don't even realize it. It will become very important to them to win your acceptance, show how valuable they are to you, and keep you from leaving them. You'll find that you have more power in the connection as time goes on. At first, the narcissist will be a scary person who wants to control you, but over time, they will become completely dependent on your approval to keep their weak sense of self-worth alive. They will start to see you as the person who validates them, and if you stop giving it to them, they will feel mentally unstable. If you know how narcissism works and use it to your benefit, you will become dependent on them, which may seem like a win. As time goes on, they will feel like they have to please you all the time to keep your support and your place in their life. This pattern will stick, and over time, they will focus more and more on meeting your wants, so they don't feel rejected or unimportant. Soon, you'll be able to handle things on your own, and the ego will no longer be in charge. They will instead become the one who goes along with your wishes and does whatever it takes to keep you happy and in their life. They will have no choice but to play the part of the follower and work hard to prove their worth to you while enjoying the approval you give them. Now you know how to get control of a narcissist. This plan works because it hurts their need for approval, their need to be in charge, and their weak sense of self-worth. You can make them really want your approval to the point where they will be loyal to you by not giving in to their selfish needs and setting clear limits. Keep in mind that this doesn't mean you have to be mean or manipulative. It's just about using the narcissist's behavior against them in a way that is good for you and gives you the upper hand. Thanks for seeing. If you learned something from this movie, please like it, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it. Your help means a lot to us, and it also helps other people learn how to deal with narcissism. Feel free to share your thoughts or any experiences you've had with narcissists below. You're not the only one going through this. Until then, know that you have the power to keep the peace. Stay strong, set those limits, and don't give up.